Hello everyone, another great day I think, because we got another Topgun Chen airplane here. If you're unfamiliar, this is an individual that designs and 3D prints airplanes. You know, no factory, just an enthusiast. But you can get these things off eBay, that's what I'm told by the person. So today we have the Shenyang J-11B variant. NATO calls this the Flanker B, or the Yinglong, which is Chinese for responsive dragon. And it's the fourth generation fighter. It's currently in production. It started in 1998 and is derived from the Russian Sukhoi SU-27. The J-11, there's 10 variations, but the B, let's see, is the B is called the Flaming Dragon. It is a multi-role variation, and it is to 90% of its design supposedly is made from Chinese-based parts. So even though it was licensed to be from Sukhoi, there was a co-production, arrangement, but that ended in 2004 because I guess China just decided to make most of this stuff themselves and make it better. This thing has a greater use of composites, and China simply knows more about electronics, so they basically made a better jet than Sukhoi. Alright. Okay, so that's the best I can do about comparing to photographs and showing the deformation. Look how sleek the plane is. It's just a cool looking plane, I think, really. And this is really cool too, I think, because it's so funny looking. Now the real plane has a length of like 22 meters, a wingspan of around 15 meters, and it can go 2.35 Mach. And it has a comet range of only 1,500 kilometers. So these things don't really fly that long. It's more like an interceptor, it seems. It has one 30mm cannon with only 150 rounds. But obviously you can run a payload of many different types of missiles and electronics warfare things. Alright, so that's it for what I care to learn from Wikipedia. Bear in mind I might be all wrong, I didn't write those articles. And let's take a look here at the plane now. So it's gray. I would call it like a medium gray, maybe 50%. It's pretty nice. You can see all these decals are applied. I can only hope that they're under a clear coat. I kind of feel like they might be. I'm not catching the edge of that, so that's good, hopefully. And let's see here. Look at all the panel gaps. They're pretty thin, very nice. I so far don't even see any indication that this is 3D printed. It's so smooth. I don't know if this is a FDM filament printer or a liquid vat printer, but it's very well done. There's no indication of 3D printing yet. Okay, so I'm not gonna really go into the details of all the parts because I have no idea what they are, so I leave that to commenters that are true enthusiasts. I just like small models. I suppose we'll just start, I guess, here at the top, middle. There's a funky little antenna looking thing there, and there's an air brake that you can see on the photos, and I have to suspect that that actually comes up or moves, but I'm not sure. Let me get some poster putty. Let's see if I can grab it with some poster putty and make it move a little bit. It might be glued in place. Yeah, maybe it's just glued in place. That's fine by me, but if it is glued in, I don't know. I would assume it does come out, because otherwise wouldn't it just be a panel line like all the rest? But I don't want to break it here, so... So you can see the painting of the engine areas. You have three different colors, like a very, very dark gray or almost black. And then there's some silver or titanium rectangles there. Not all of them painted, though, properly, so that's unfortunate. This side seems to be better painted than these rectangles here. And there's like a bluish color here. I don't know. And then this is like a titanium or a gunmetal color to me. inside the engine. It's very dark, so dark I'm gonna need a flashlight. Alright, so yeah, you got the fan blades in there, very neat. Alright, so that's cool. We got some little protruding bumps there. Maybe I don't know if those are lights. What are these little things? I wonder. They're little round dots. I wonder if that's where the chaff gets sent out, those flares to avoid missiles and stuff, or decoys for missiles. Maybe this is like a no-step decal, and then we have the Chinese Air Force decal there. I'm not sure why this one's got this little yellow protrusion where this one doesn't. This one looks more normal. Something went wrong with that one, misprint or some sort. So you notice it's pretty plain on this side, and this side you have the cannon, that 30mm gun, and it's physically there, that bump and the recess, which is nice, and then there's a decal of the metal shielding, the heat protection around it, and some other black rectangles that I have no clue as to what they are. The ends of the wings have a lighter gray, and this side has a green marker, and this side has a reddish marker. These verticals here, nice panel gaps again, nice bumps there. The tips are painted a darker gray. The decal work seems fine. Some sort of angle, inclination sort of indication. But I can't imagine why those would be there if there's no wing angling, right? This is a fixed wing, so maybe it's used to like just show in photographs maybe when they're approaching bases, its angle. I don't know. Please leave a comment if you know. It's a mystery to me, like many things in this aviation world. Alright, so the tip of the nose is painted black. My F-14, it came off, yeah, and look at this. So we got 2 magnets on this side and 2 alignment pins. So, and then there's literally a thumbtack, it looks like, for the little protruding tip there. It's literally metal and it could literally puncture my hand. This is well painted. Look at this. The edge of the black is so well done. And then there's 2 grays here. So yeah, this was masked off and painted a different gray, and then this black was painted on top of it. That's a lot of work. I've been making a lot of egg planes and stuff myself, and it takes forever to paint things. To do it right, it takes forever. So I would have to guess that's some sort of radar system, but I don't know for sure. It's painted like a gunmetal color. And there's 2 other magnets here on this side, so. And then some sort of sensor dome of some sort. This one is actually aligned in the middle of the cockpit. I've seen others where it's off to the side. So this is neat. If you want to do like a land-based diorama, show that on the ground or something like that. Alright, cockpit time should be good. Ooh, so this is not a vertical liftoff. I guess it can't be because of the angles of that. So just be mindful that you don't pull it straight up. I guess it could have been vertical, but it's at an angle. Oh, I realize now why. There's 2 channels down there. So one is in the closed position, but you put these pegs in the forward holes. And now you could have it, you know, in the open cockpit position. So that's really smart. Very cool. And there's 2 magnets down there, and yep, 2 magnets up there. And so you can see the inside of this is painted black, and then you can also see the black on the inside of the clear canopy, and that's to help the light not penetrate the gray above it. So excuse me. So yeah, painted twice. Very nice. And very clear cockpit. So I'm sure it's 3D printed, but it's been fully polished. It's a lot of work again. There may be some ridges there. Very impressive. The best cockpit I have yet. Ooh, boy. And there's some sort of black shelf of some sort with a bump there. Maybe that's a separate piece. Yeah, I guess that is a separate piece. Anyway, so multi-piece cockpit rear end. And then look at this. Nice decal there with all sorts of avionics that the Chinese are improved upon. So I guess maybe a regular SU-27 just has a lot of actual analog gauges and stuff, not a glass cockpit like this Chinese version. There's even a decal off on the side, or multiple decals. It's actually going up the wall. Very neat. A whole bunch of switches there. Very cool. So the flight stick's got a little red painted on the tip. Alrighty. And then you got the little heads-up display there. Is that like... That's hollow. It works. It's interesting. And then on this side of the cockpit, more decal button indication. And then the seat is just black, but what's going on here? It looks like it's gold or something. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's there. So yeah, the inside of this wall is a little bit black, or maybe that's just the no, yeah, it is painted black and gray again. And it's very smooth looking. Oh, but wait, I see an artifact here. I don't know if that's glue. Maybe it's just glue residue. A little line. I thought it was a crack, but I can't. It's not a crack. Yeah, I'll just have to clean that up later. So there's even like panel details on that cockpit instrument thing. These like rectangles and cut lines and stuff. Alrighty. So one thing I didn't show earlier is this pilot. It came in a separate bag, and this is supposedly a Chinese Air Force Flanker pilot. So it's got this gray helmet and 5 black dots on the top for some reason. Some sort of latch or handle up top. A nice glossy visor. A gray mask with a bunch of bumps on it, and the tube itself is like a nylon hose or something. Hands are painted blue nicely. It's got a dark green jumpsuit. And look at the gray harness, how well that's painted. That's really difficult to do. So it's magnetized on both sides. The skin texture looks fine. There's even a decal here on the arm. Yeah, little feet painted black. So a lot of work. You can buy these things unpainted. You know, if you like painting stuff, all these things are just, you can buy them raw and save a lot of money. It's just that I don't have time to be painting models. You know, I only paint things that aren't finished. But I'd rather buy finished models like this. So anyways, let's pop this guy in. You notice the hand is in trying to grab that play stick, but not much room for the legs in this one. Oh, there we go. So literally the hand got in front of that red flight stick. So that's very well designed. And you notice the head is resting on the headrest. So it doesn't look like it would fit in there, right? Because the head is above the windshield screen. But because this thing bubbles up, domes up so much. Get those back holes. Yeah, so there it is. Oh, yeah, if you want to have like a ground diorama, you have it looking at you, right? Like that. Or just like that a little bit, like it's opening up, but... So that's that's really cool. I really like that. These little details are so cool. Alright, so that guy's going to permanently live inside of there. Alright, continuing on the outside here. Some sort of rectangular marker here. And you'll see now the bottom is painted a light gray, you know, versus the darker up top. So that takes time to mask off. There's also silver paint here, continuing down on that heat shielding. Some sort of dots of a decal here, crossing both wings. Then we have a little antenna there, a little dot. And then we have seen all these pylon mounts for different armaments or fuel tanks or whatnot. There's a 3mm peg hole there. And then there's decals running around the jet intake, and the jet is not the backside of those engines. Those are different parts. You can just see this one's around here, whereas the engine one is around there. Unfortunately, it's not painted. It would have been cool if those were painted like some sort of metallic color, but they're just white. I guess you could take a long paintbrush and paint them, but they're so far in there. They're unless you look straight at it, even if you do look straight at it, it's so dark, right? Well, I'll deal with it later if I decide to paint with it. Alright, so the paint carries across on the bottom side of the engines. Same with these verticals. And interesting, there's some sort of triangular shape sticking outside of the engine cell here. I have no idea why those would be there. They're like little canards or something. And there's some sort of decal work here. Some maybe screens or vents. I don't know that black decal, what that would be for. This side, yeah, it's symmetric. I don't know if this looks like a magnet, actually. It's a bump with a magnet, so some sort of side pods go on here. So look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, 14, 15. There's 15 mounting points on this thing. That's crazy. That's a lot. Alright, so very cool. Very cool. So let's put it into flight mode first, and then I end off with the ground mode because that's how I generally display it in my cabinets. So we'll do the landing gear later. Oh, here it's all coming together now. These wings go here, do they? This is the dark side. Oh, these are back here. There's magnets here. So it's clear. Should be clear to you now that I don't really know much about airplanes. I should have known that there would be stabilizers back here. That's why that thing is there. Alright, yeah, I'm just an idiot as usual. Now, unfortunately, there's this like piece of plastic getting in the way, and so it doesn't want to be like horizontal unless you would literally have to cut that away to have these rear stabilizers be more flight mode like. So let me try the other side. Yeah, so yeah, the way it comes, it's in like a landing position or something. You know, it's coming in to land or something. But I kind of feel like I want it more horizontal. So I think I'm going to have to trim off those parts, this little bit here. I want a really sharp edge, so I'm using my hobby cutters. These Rui tools are great, by the way. So I'm just going to go and snap that off. It was brittle plastic. So now it's more horizontal. I guess you could sand it off even more. I would have to assume maybe on the real plane this is where like the hydraulics are to push to move that wing up and down on the real thing. I really don't know. I don't want to mess up this model, you know, but so I'm being careful. There we go, though. So now that sits nice and flush, and it's in flight mode, or more of a stable cruising mode up in the air. Alright, so it's nice that there's a ledge, because that really helps, you know, me locate the blade of this cutter. Yeah, alright, so that's cool. Very nice. Just be mindful you might have to modify things. Yeah, interesting. There's a little intake or something right here. Please leave a comment if you know why. Why would this wing area? Oh, I guess maybe it's to cool off the motor running running these flaps. Motors. Okay. Well, this is interesting. There's no panels for flight mode. It would only need one panel, or is it magnetized to this? No, that's on there. Yeah, that's interesting. So now I notice a magnet there. These are for the landing gear, but there's nothing to cover that up, which I find a bit odd. You know, am I missing it? Yeah, so that's unfortunate. I'll have to see if there is supposed to be one or not, because it's just weird. Let's see here. I'm gonna get a flight stand here, and let's see if this one fits. No, it's too tight. So if you're gonna have a flight stand, you're gonna have to have one with a really small tip like this. One of these, it actually comes with these but I have so many that I don't even pull them out. Alright, so it can obviously be in flight mode. It's just that, you know, that's exposed. It's odd. Well, with that said, I'm going to have to just put the landing gear on right now because it just looks weird to me. So the front landing gear, there's a lot going on here. It literally has jewel beads. These little craft beads for 3 lights. Very cool. And the decal on the inside, and it's painted like a maroon color. Oh, look at that. Does it roll? Yes, apparently it does. And look at all these details on this landing gear. Very funky. Alright, well. So I guess this is the only way it can go in. With this going to the front. It doesn't align though. There's nothing like... I almost feel like there should be a recessed rectangle, so that will keep the front end aligned. Right now it's just like spinning in any direction. That doesn't seem right. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot again. Yeah, so it does actually. It's the magnet back here that aligns it. Okay, that's interesting. It's a more seamless thing. Alright, well, that's very well thought out. Again, just takes a while for me to figure things out. I apologize for my stupidity, but there's no instruction manual. So that works very well. The 2 magnets there. Very cool. And so, looks like there's maybe a decal for the wheel. It's got some green and funky details there. The inside, a little bit of titanium or dark gunmetal for the shock, and a little bit of that same paint for maybe a light or something on the front end of that landing gear. Okay, so yeah, that works very well. There, yeah, it sits fine. So now, the fun part is putting the loadout on, although the loadout seems pretty similar. It seems to be just 2 different missiles. I clearly have no idea what these missiles are called, but this is, well, it looks like the equivalent of a Sparrow or something, a larger missile, and this is probably like the Chinese Sidewinder, some air-to-air missile or something. So it's got these, you know, circular magnets in them, and so also this one's got a bunch of decal work. So a lot of work just to put one missile together. Well, it's just one missile piece, but you know, to put the decals on. Even this little one has a little bit of a black or dark gunmetal tip. So you can now see the 3D printing process here. There's some support structures. So these missiles are resin printed. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, you could trim those off, obviously. Or maybe they are FDM, because they seem to be made of white plastic, which is a very common color for FDM. Less common in the realm of liquid resin printing. Alright, you'll need to see me do that. So I like the ones with the decals, of course. So I'm going to put one here. Now, well, maybe that's not a good idea, because that's covering up that peg hole. I'm going to pull out a different flight stand. Alright, let's see if the shorter one. Alright, so now you can clear that peg hole. And, yeah, alright, so you want to, well, I'm going to put those little ones there. Maybe bank 2 of these. I was hoping it would just, by luck, work. Ah, come on. Very neat, very neat. Uh-oh, it looks like a magnet fell out of somewhere. Or it's just an extra magnet? I don't know. Hopefully. Well, I don't know. These 2 here. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of extra plastic here for sure. I feel like, although it does sit there, it doesn't sit there very well. Because, see, cause the mount is a bit wide, you know, the end of the wing. So maybe might be better to put the big ones on the end as well. Although I kind of feel that doesn't make sense, but I don't know. No, that's weird looking, right? Well, you definitely have just enough missiles to fully load the thing. That's a lot of weaponry, right? That is something I would not want to see coming towards me, on the ground or in the air. That's just crazy how many missiles this thing is carrying. I've never seen a plane with that many missiles on it. That's for something else. So I 3D printed my own little dome, 3mm stainless rod stand here. And yeah, that hole is fine. It just doesn't feel like it goes in very deep. I don't know if there's a lot of paint in there. So you might have to chase that hole out with a 3mm drill bit, but I think for the video I can get it in here. So I pulled up 2 new images, and yeah, it is fully loaded out with a bunch of missiles in that one. And then I wanted to pull up this image because in Wikipedia there's some sort of incident where one of these things was flying like Maverick from Top Gun around a P-3 Orion, an American airplane. So it was strafing it, you know, showing off its weapons and stuff like that. So I guess everyone likes the movie Top Gun, apparently, even in China. So who knows what other reckless behavior occurs between countries and their fighter pilots. I mean, if you can fly a military jet fighter, I mean, you gotta have. I guess it would make sense to be a little bit cocky and maybe obnoxious. I would be the same way. Okay, sorry, I gotta take this light off here. It's a little too bright. So it looks pretty cool from the bottom view or the top view, even with the landing gear. Very neat. Alright, let's get some comparisons. I'm going to just let this spin around as it... I'm just going to pull up 2 other models. Oh, a missile just fell off this. So this is the F-14. Okay. So just a sense of sizing. But the F-14, you know, having 2 pilots... You know, still, the footprint is very similar in size. But the F-14 is a much older airplane as well. But, you know, these are all cartoons, so they're not really scaled. And not to each other, probably. All they have to do is carry the same type of character in size. So, very cool. I don't know which I like more. I love this design. You know, as a kid, I made so many different model kits of the F-14, realistic versions though. But I really like this Russian/Chinese design as well. So I reviewed this a little earlier. It's a die-cast metal airplane of a J-11 or something like that. And it's supposedly some sort of unlicensed copycat of a different airplane that Topgun Chen has done. He does have a dual cockpit, but I didn't buy it because I already have this. So it is similar in size. It does have similar details. Look at the engines. You know, I'm just ignoring the cockpit itself. So I don't know if they bought one of you know, these and then 3D scanned it or something to make this. I don't know. But again, this is totally made of metal, which frankly I feel is excessively unnecessary. It's just so heavy. I don't need that. But I did like it. It was missing a missile pod though, so yeah. And then it did modify this, and this is a different spot, but it's a different airplane, so just be mindful of that. Some people, copy stuff. Unshady. It's a shady world in many aspects of toys. If you look at die-cast cars, there's a lot of unlicensed models out there. So it's strange that, but I guess wherever there's money, people will try to make it, right? Whether it's toys or narcotics or whatever, or guns, whatever. All right, so in summary, this is awesome. Yeah, it's another fine addition to my collection. It does cost quite a bit of money, I suppose, but you have to ask yourself, if you had to paint this and make this yourself, how long would it take for you to do? That's the way I look at it. And so that's how I justify the price of this. And it's something that I'll look at all the time. And you could even fiddle around with it, play with it, change the bombs from one plane to a different plane, that kind of stuff, because they're all magnetized. Thank you for watching today. We'll see you the next time we do one of these Topgun Chens. Taking off here.